Obviously, you will define what is biotechnology. You will say that biotechnology is nothing but a science where you make use of living organisms or biological processes for commercial application. Okay, so what you can do is that to give more credibility to your answer, even though you know it is not true, you may write Department of Biotechnology defines biotechnology as. Start it like that. Okay, they're not going to Google, oh, Department of Biotechnology definition in Apanta. They're not going to do that. Nobody is going to do that. But if you define it saying the Department of Biotechnology defines it doesn't seem incorrect. If you go and ask Department of Biotechnology what is, they'll still give you the same answer. Correct? So it gives you more credibility. Okay, it doesn't make sense that I tell you to do all these things, but that's what you have to do to if you want more marks. Okay, everybody will write what is biotechnology. So how do you differentiate yourself? Okay, so that is one thing. So your first answer is, so for the first step is to define biotechnology. Okay, then you may consider writing the applications of biotechnology. Okay, now when writing applications of biotechnology, the question is not asking for applications of biotechnology. So don't spend too much of time writing applications of biotechnology, first point, 2 line, second point. You will take up too much of time in addressing something which a question is not asking for. So this is where you do something like, applications of biotech. Okay, right. Green biotechnology. They'll know what is green biotechnology. Or you can write green biotechnology for agriculture. Then you'll write red biotechnology. Then you'll write white biotechnology, blue biotechnology for your marine applications, for your food applications, for your environmental applications. Just draw this diagram and just leave it there. It will take so much of time. So, sorry, it's not going to consume too much of time, but you will still be able to write relevant information in as little time as possible. Okay, so you can write applications like this. Put up a diagram. It look beautiful also on a paper. Correct? Okay. Second, what's the next part? So it is saying, the question is saying it is a double-edged sword. Meaning what? It has advantages, it has disadvantages. So the next step is saying that, yes, biotechnology is a double-edged sword. And then you will write about the advantages or disadvantages of biotechnology. What can you do? What are the advantages? Correct. So you can give example of GM crops. Write about GM crops and give example BT cotton, etc. We give few examples. Then conserving of. Correct. So you can write cloning, and cloning is going to help you in preventing extinction in the future. So you can write about cloning. Then you can write gene therapy. Then under gene therapy, you can write treatment. You can write diagnosis. You can write prevention under gene therapy. Then DNA fingerprinting. So it can be used in parental disputes. It can be used with respect to criminal identification of criminals. So it can be used in what do you call it as on the legal side, or what is it? Jurisprudence. So it can be application of science in jurisprudence. Okay, you can write that. Any other advantage of biotechnology? You can also make use. You can make use of genetic sequencing. All these things you can understand. What is evolution? Any other advantage of biotechnology that you can talk about? Fertility methods. You can talk about fertility methods. You can talk about development of new medications, antibodies, vaccines. For example, vaccines is nothing but in terms of treatment. So we are able to develop vaccines, treat many other diseases, for example. So whatever we have discussed in biotechnology, you must be able to write few things with respect to advantages. Developing crops which are more resistant, higher productivity, hybridization, all these things you'll be able to write. At the same time, you should be able to write disadvantages. What are the disadvantages of dark biotechnology? You can give the example of COVID. So if at all we are able to manufacture any toxic or toxin or microbes which are harmful, okay, it may biotechnology may be weaponized. Biotechnology may be weaponized and used as a weapons against humanity. You can talk about cloning with respect to the development of designer babies. Okay, so it may lead to concept of designer babies. It is unethical, so it leads to the debate of bioethics. For example, is it legal or is it illegal? It can lead to underground development of biotechnology with respect to surrogacy, with respect to assisted reproductive technology. It could lead to development of next generation weapons, where you are bioengineered humans, okay, who are less susceptible to diseases, who are less susceptible to climate. So it could lead to superhumans. Okay, that is also there. What else? Sorry? Terminator gene. It can have adverse effect of reducing biodiversity. So you will be also be able to write few disadvantages. Then what is it? Next, you will try to address how do we try to ensure that biotechnology is only used for the good or for the benefit. So what can you write? We need a broad policy at the global level, then also at the national level, and these policies will have to be binding. What happens many times, they'll develop policies, but these are not binding. Nobody cares about it. So we need a global policy, we need a national policy with principles, provisions which are binding on the entities and the governments. Then what else can you write? Generating awareness is the most dissemination of information. Generate public awareness. People should know that what is right, what is not right. So you need appropriate laws, appropriate information dissemination system, where you make people aware, scientists aware what is right and what is not right. At the same time, you need appropriate legal provisions for punishing people who do not abide by these rules. So also there must be deterrence to avoid people, to ensure that people do not do or commit the wrong thing. Anything else that you can say? Sorry? Grievance redressal system should be there. We can also develop and set up regulatory boards who actually ensures that these things are followed. Anyone online? Any other point? Correct. See, for example, we have something known as the Cartagena Protocol, which talks about transboundary movement of genetically modified organisms. It has been such a long time since we came out with Cartagena Protocol. That is nothing but convention on biodiversity. Maybe it is time to revisit. Correct. So these things are more necessary. So on these lines, you should be able to write the answer and end it. So stem cells, correct. So stem cells, I think it is with respect to advantages. Okay, so I hope you have you have an idea of how to write answers. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.